It all started with a simple decision. A decision that should have been straightforward, something that could have been celebrated. But instead, it quickly spiraled into something much bigger, much darker. You ever feel like you're just trying to live your life, and somehow, someone, or something, just can't let you be? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. I made a choice to move out of my own house. My own house. And Karen Whitmore, the president of my HOA, decided she was going to make it her business to stop me. Yeah, you heard that right. The woman who thought she ran Willowbrook, our little suburban community, wasn't going to let me leave without a fight. And when I stood there in front of my home, watching not one, not two, but 5 police cars surround me, with officers ready to draw their weapons, all because Karen didn't like the idea of me moving well, that was the moment I knew things were about to get real. And trust me, the insanity that followed? You wouldn't believe it if I told you. But let's rewind a bit. 6 weeks earlier, everything seemed perfect. I had just gotten a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. St. Mary's Hospital wanted to partner with me. They wanted me to provide them with organic vegetables from my farm for the next 5 years, a guaranteed contract. That's not just good business. That's a chance to build something real, something that would honor the memory of my late wife, Lisa. Lisa had always believed in healing through nutrition, and in her final days, she asked me to promise her that I would keep growing clean, healthy food. It wasn't just about the farm for me. It was a way to keep her dream alive. Every morning, I'd stand in the garden, feeling close to her. Even now, years after she passed, I could still feel her presence there. That morning, as I hammered a for sale sign into the lawn, I thought about how this was my chance to do something bigger than myself. But of course, that's when Karen Whitmore appeared. Across the street, just like that, always watching, always ready to pounce. At 52, with her perfectly styled blonde hair and expensive workout clothes, Karen ruled the HOA with the same iron fist she used to keep people in line. But she'd always had it out for me, ever since that lawsuit I won against her 2 years ago. She didn't like it when I proved that front yard vegetable gardens actually increased property values. And now, when she saw me putting that sign in my front yard, she knew I was trying to leave, and that was something she couldn't stand. "Robert," she called out in that saccharine sweet voice that was nothing but trouble. "Surely you're not thinking of leaving our beautiful community?" I explained about the hospital contract, how it wasn't just about business for me, but something that would allow me to honor Lisa's legacy. But Karen's smile didn't change. Oh no, that smile was the same cold, condescending smile she always had, like she was already deciding how she would ruin my plans. She then mentioned something about Section 12 of the HOA bylaws and property transfers, just a little dig, letting me know that she could make my life hell if I didn't follow her rules. But it wasn't just the bylaws that had her so riled up. Karen had hated me for years. The moment I stood up to her, she saw me as a threat. As she walked away, I could feel the coldness in the air. She'd already started her campaign of harassment. The first blow came a few hours later, a bright orange violation notice slapped on my door. It was for my produce delivery truck, which had been parked in my driveway for just over 2 hours. The fine? $500. Of course, I paid it. But I made sure to record every conversation I had with her from that point on. I wasn't going to let her ruin my dream. She had no idea what was coming. It got worse from there. A few days after the fine, I got a call from my real estate agent. The potential buyer who had been interested in my property? He backed out. He claimed it was because of the property's history. When I pressed, I found out that Karen had sent out an email to every resident in Willowbrook, accusing me of being a deadbeat homeowner. She'd even photoshopped evidence, fake violations, fake pictures, everything designed to ruin my chances of selling my house. That was it. I was done. But instead of confronting Karen with my fists, like I wanted to, I did what Lisa would have wanted me to do. I fought with patience and wisdom. I started documenting everything. Every email, every interaction, every violation she came up with. I wasn't going to let her win. Meanwhile, Karen kept pushing. She called my moving company and scared them off by threatening them with legal action. No company wanted to touch my move now. But what I didn't know was that my son, Nathan, had sighted just the day before while off-duty from his police job. Karen had seen him and noticed his CRVYC weapon. She made a mental note of it, something that would come back to haunt me. Then, a new bombshell hit. I found out that Karen had been buying up homes in Willowbrook for years. She'd forced families to sell their homes at a fraction of the value, using her power to harass them into submission. She'd done it before, and now I was next. And who was behind all this? Her brother, who operated under different LLCs to make the purchases. The next day, I heard from Maria, a bakery owner and former HOA board member. She'd had enough. She came to me with proof. She showed me documents, emails, everything that connected Karen to illegal active VY. Together, we made a plan. I would keep acting like the VY Tim, while Maria gathered the final pieces of VY Danke. And then, Karen took the bait. She had my truck towed for a parking violation that she knew was bogus. The tow truck driver, one of my regular customers, refused to tow my truck. That sent Karen into a rage. She started threatening both of us, calling my business into question. That night, Karen called an emergency HOA meeting, where she tried to pass a new rule. No homeowner could move out within 90 days of listing their property. But this time, Maria had a plan of her own. She secretly live-streamed the meeting, broadcasting Karen's meltdown to the entire community. The VY Deo went viral. The next day, my phone started buzzing with messages of support. Neighbors who had been silent for years were now speaking out, sharing their stories of how Karen had terrorized them too. But Karen wasn't done. She escalated. She called the health department, falsely accusing me of selling contaminated produce. The inspector came to my house, but instead of finding anything wrong, he ended up buying 10 pounds of vegetables from me. Karen's plans kept backfiring, and I could see her growing more desperate. Then, she took it a step further. Karen had my power and water cut off, all in the middle of summer, to force me to leave. The damage to my farm was devastating. My vegetables, my dream, were dying because of her. And still, I fought. I kept documenting. I kept moving forward. But Karen, it seemed, had finally pushed me too far. One day, she showed up at my house with Mike and some neighbors, announcing that I was in violation of HOA regulations and that she would have me evicted if I didn't restore utilities within 24 hours. I lost it. For the first time in a long time, I shouted, telling her how much she was ruining my life and my wife's dream. And then, Maria filmed it. The VY Deo went viral, and suddenly, Karen was the VY lane. Neighbors came forward, and the police started investigating. It wasn't just about an HOA anymore. It was about corruption, intimidation, and criminal behavior. And then, the police came for her. They arrested Karen that night. And when the dust settled, we found out the truth. Karen was part of a much larger scheme involving real estate fraud, embezzlement, and racketeering. She wasn't just harassing me. She had been terrorizing the entire neighborhood for years. The HOA board resigned, and Maria was elected as the new president. She completely overhauled the HOA, eliminating Karen's oppressive rules and creating a community where people helped each other. My farm flourished, and I honored Lisa's memory by growing healthy food for people in need. In the end, Karen got what was coming to her. She was sentenced to prison for her crimes. And me? I learned that you can fight for what's right, and sometimes you win. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you have handled it differently? What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Do you think there's a place for HOAs in our communities, or do they just end up controlling people's lives? Let's talk about it. And remember, no matter how dark things get, keep fighting with patience and wisdom, because that's how good people win.